individuality and identity. And that, my friend, is exactly what we're headed at. No question.
And you think this year would be a large leap in that general direction of...
No, I'm going to say it's going to be a large leap in that specific direction. Okay. And that is very bold. What we're actually seeing in the world today, right now, Chad, is the awakening of humankind. But the first part that we have to go through is distaste and disdain. And that's what we're seeing. All right? There's a lot of ways you can handle distaste and disdain. A lot of ways. The way we're handling it is not brilliant. It's not the best way that we could do it. Are there other ways that we could do it? Yes. It's called acceptance. Acceptance of self and acceptance of other systems of belief and acceptance of other ideas and ideals. We are a world, a global issue of individuality, attempting to force ourselves on each and every other belief system. That is going to die. That is going to go away, and that'll be the saving grace of humankind.
I'd agree. In fact, put that on the ballot. I would even register to vote for it.
You ain't going to see that yet, buddy. No way. The mass majority likes the shuck and jive, so to speak. They like the hook and crook because they don't realize there are other venues and other avenues to do it. So we've talked about weather. You're going to see extreme weather continue. There is no question of that because weather is exerting itself in its attempt to wake us up. We're going to see geologic activity actually increase to a great extent. If you go to that website and start following it, I mean, heck, you can go on USGS .gov, and you can get live reports of earthquakes and volcanic activity. You can do that daily. I do it every day, and if you look at it and watch it, there's a pattern. Yet science says there's no pattern. But if you watch it, you can see it. There definitely is, and you'll see precisely what I mean. Not only is it going to increase in number, geologically speaking, but it's also going to increase in magnitude, without question, in our world. I mean, the idea of a magnitude 10 earthquake, we had one a few years ago. We're going to see several more, without question, and I think we're going to see them next year. And I would not be a bit surprised for one to hit the continental United States. I mean, we've gotten so complacent here that it's not even funny.
So where do we go? Do you see safe spots, or is there one location that is better than another for people to be in, generally?
Well, all right, the next thing I want to, in answer to that question, look, everybody's going to be exactly where they're supposed to be when all of this stuff hits the fan. Everybody, you have no choice. I know a wonderful lady, very wonderful, and I'm just going to give her first name. Her name is Mary. She moved from St. Louis, a city that is going to go through great difficulty, is the way I'll phrase it, to Los Angeles, to a city that's going to go through great difficulty, to Chicago, to a city that's going to go through great difficulty, to Portland, Oregon, a city that's going to go through great difficulty.
Those are all cities, though. Could I live in Lorenz, Iowa, where there is nothing? Would that help, or would that be better?
Well, you and I both know that the odds of you moving to Lorenz, Iowa are about... Look, all I'm saying to people is don't run around like a chicken with your head cut off. Every human is going to be where they are supposed to be. But the answer to that question is yes. Now, here's how I'm going to answer it for every person out there that's listening, is simply this. If you live in L.A. and you have an overpowering urge to leave. Don't make money more important than you. How does the universe communicate with people? That's simple. It gives you impulses. It gives you ideas. It gives you things that says, I'm no longer comfortable here. I've got to get out of here. Or if you even have the sense of you need to go on vacation, all of a sudden you wake up and you need to be out of Los Angeles. My suggestion to you is follow that and get out of Los Angeles, because that means you are not supposed to take part in that. Now, here's the other thing. If you don't listen to it, you are going to take part. The only city that I am really uncomfortable in when I visit and to speak is Los Angeles. Why? It's not because of the size of it. It's not because of their violent nature. It's not because of their road rage and their gangs. It's because I absolutely cannot sleep. That doesn't mean I don't go down there. It means that I am extremely aware of geology and what's going on. And if I'm in Los Angeles, there is no way out of it.
Unsettling feeling.
Yes. So I go into Los Angeles as seldom as possible. And my point with the listeners is this: I just listen to my senses. That's
what I was getting at, was that that's what people need to be either able to discern and listen to the voice of conscience within themselves.
Absolutely. And you know what? Going back to going back to the listener that asked earlier about internal, that's the biggest key right there, is when you start paying attention to the internal mechanisms of our physiological makeup, you start hearing the messages. In fact, right now, I can tell everybody out there that's listening this: the intuitive ability in every single human is awakening. You can tell that by emotional shifting and changing for seeming no reason. You can tell that by emotional upheaval. You can tell that by just the sense that you all know that something is about to happen. All of that are attributes of the intuitive sense of the sentient human. And we're all being awakened to it. Now, we can take that a step further and say part of the insanity that's going on in our world is that same awakening to that same sense. We don't know, people that are untrained and unfamiliar with it don't know how to deal with it. But when you learn to practice and listen to your inner self, my lovely bride, Karen, she uses herself as a pendulum. And I can tell when she's doing it because she puts her hands on her solar plexus, and I know that she's just sensing is what she's doing. And I think that's a wonderful thing that any and every human can do should they ever decide to listen to their inner self. In fact, we can even say the majority of the cause of the conflict going on globally is because nobody listens to that within themselves. Nobody, or very few.
So let's look forward to a time when, if you're saying that 2008 is going to be a year of exposure where we are internally seeing things, we're actually looking at ourselves. We're looking in the mirror.
Yes.
Then what do we create? What kind of weather patterns would we expect? What kind of external things would we create if internally we were at one and we were peaceful?
Wow. Wow.
So just a simple question.
No, I know. I'm just going, wow. I love the question, Chad. And the reason I'm going, wow, is because we don't realize the far-reaching effects that we do have. Look, we've heard for a long time by many, many, many different people that the world is one. It's oneness. Oneness doesn't exclude any individual human. It doesn't exclude weather. It doesn't exclude geology. If we truly operated under the idea of oneness, we would have a world that would absolutely, here are the words I'm going to use because I'm using them with complete intention, we would have a world that would defy implicit comprehension. We would have a world that would have ideal weather. We would have a world that would have no need, if you would, for a police force. There would be no need for weapons. There would be no need for courts, judges, laws. When we look at the notion of weather, it would be so ideal in the majority of places in the world. And you have to understand, scientifically speaking, that if you live in the northern hemisphere, you're going to get snow. There's no way around it. But would you get the number of tornadoes? My sense tells me no. And when you look at the idea, just metaphorically, everybody, for a minute, I may be crazy, but listen, metaphorically, the mass majority of tornadoes hit the heartland of the United States. Look at the metaphor. Heartland, tumultuous hearts. Mary Magdalene, in her Gospel of Mary Magdalene, said that we must be very conscious of our emotional selves. If not, we release the seven wraths of the heart. All right, heartland, That's where tornadoes are. Look at the upheaval that one single tornado causes, and look at now the constant flow. Why? Could it really be simply because the people of our world, and especially we could say of the United States, are in absolute turmoil? They're dazed and confused. The heart is releasing these emotions and creating, and my humble expression, if you will, all the tornadic activity in the Midwest, and I hope that just made sense.
It does, because I can see how internally we could be causing this, but it's a stretch for a lot of people to be able to admit or